No. Good evening and welcome to Going for Two. This is the only YouTube podcast in human recorded history to feature a male and female host drinking our way through the important topics of the day, as long as they touch the football world, but not in that way. I am Zach Law, and this is the amazing fantasy wizardress, Sharona. What is today? The 29th of November,
30th.
2016, just for fun. 30. Ooh, my gosh. Month's almost over.
Yeah, it is. Tomorrow's the first day of December, isn't it?
Is it? Tonight
Yep.
we both bring beer, no guest again, because people have jobs and whatnot. So Sharona's been out of it, so I will recap for her. The Titans won, and I love that Peter King made Mike Mularkey his coach of the week after he almost blew a 20-point lead to a team starting a fourth-string quarterback and a bunch of nobody receivers. What a world. I don't blame King because with the Titans, Jaguars, Browns, and don't forget the Rams, you only have to cover 28 teams in the NFL, so that's pretty cool. And the fact that they're back on the radar, is all right. I was watching the game with my friend Don. We've watched the last three Titans Bears games together. I think the last one we didn't see together was when the Titans were the first team in NFL history to lose in overtime on a safety when the Bears were in town 16 years ago or 12 years ago. Yeah. That's about right. So I don't know. Did you watch the footballs this weekend or were you having a life?
I was having a lot. Well, I did not watch the games. I saw some highlights. I'm actually just now getting a chance to really check the scores of all my fantasy teams. No, I was house sitting and a lot of family around and all of that as the Thanksgiving weekend wrapped up. So I didn't get a chance to watch the games to answer the question directly.
Yeah. How was the family Thanksgiving no booze gathering?
It was good. It was good. It was not quite as I don't know. We were missing some. I haven't had a chance to really figure out exactly who didn't quite make it, but it was good, and we had a good time. And I ate so much food. Our eating time is earlier in the day. It's usually we shoot for noon, but it's usually 1 o'clock before we get around to eating. And so I ate so much that I didn't eat anything until noon the next day. I was so full.
Yeah. When we used to do the gathering with the family in Baton Rouge, I feel like we always ate at halftime of the Lions game, and the Lions game always started super early. I feel like the game starts at 10:30 Central Time or something. It's really, really early. Although I loved Twitter talking about whoever that was. That both games, the halftime act, nobody knew either of those people were. So that was fun.
The Thanksgiving. Now I did watch the Thanksgiving games. Now I didn't get a chance. I only watched a little bit of the Cowboys game, but I watched the first game, and whoever that weirdo was, I was like,
Whoever that weirdo was.
"What the freak?"
Pretty
So,
much. We ended up eating 3 o'clock-ish, so probably between the games, and it was just me and the wife, parents, and their friends and their son, who I swear is 6 years older than the last time I saw him, which might be true. So we ended up eating a large quantity. I mean, the shocking part of the weekend is that my parents actually ate some dessert because they've kind of cut that out of their they got the pumpkin pie from Publix, which is fine because that's good stuff, and then they actually ate
Publix.
some of that, and I was like, "Whoa, look at that!" So, and one of my beer acquisitions from this weekend, because I had a nice beer weekend, as a Black Abbey Miette, I believe it's called. Flanders Red, so kind of a tart, sour, wildish beer aged on oak. They say bourbon. I can't really tell. It's only, 5.5%? Not so bad. Probably a good idea since it's a Wednesday.
I'm drinking wine again. I am drinking what is right now at this moment in time my favorite wine, and it is a Menage a Trois red blend. It's a soft red blend, and it's dreamy. Very good.
So was that the wine you were trying to get when you got the Three Thieves from last week? Or I was like, you got
No,
another
well,
one with three. It's three something. You just grab a bottle. You
no,
know,
no,
it's
no.
just
I
one
mean,
of those.
this I like this, but the Three Thieves, I had the Cabernet, but I like the blend, and I do have a blend over there. I could pull it out and show it to you. But I do also have a backup too, because Zach said he might want to talk about feelings. He pulled the
Oh,
whole "we need to talk" routine on me, and so I brought the bourbon just in case.
see, I'm impressed there because you always see beer that's like aged in bourbon barrels. So why wouldn't they age bourbon in beer barrels? And yeah, I said that all without slipping up. So that was fun. Yeah, that was my Friday thing when we were all gathering and talking about, oh, you going to go to any Black Friday sales? And I was like, actually, I'm going to stand in line for beer. So that's what I did. I made new friends and hung out and had a beer at like 8 in the morning, which is always a good thing. And sadly, the Bourbon County Stout, I was only able to acquire one bottle, so I did drink it this weekend. So it's gone. It's very good. But standing in line for a couple hours for a beer, I don't know. It's kind of like when you don't get to talk about football much, and then you find a friend who wants to talk about football, and you're like, I can't stop talking about football. And then after a while, you're like, okay, that was good. No, I'm covered.
So did you have, now they serve chicken and biscuits, did you say? Did you have that too?
Well, this was a place called Craft Brewed that I'd gone to before. So the deal was you got in line, and then they gave you a ticket, which told you what number you were to get this Bourbon County beer, and it came in. And they actually, because Tennessee's, every state is weird about alcohol, but Tennessee's
Super weird.
kind of up there. They have two stores because you can't sell, I think, beer over 6.2% in a certain store. So they actually had the Bourbon County in the other store, which had liquor and wine and the higher gravity beers. So we were in the other store with the lower gravity beers, where I showed Sharona the "Gotta Get Up to Get Down" beer that was for sale, and they had a bunch of growlers and stuff, and you basically could get beer. And the deal was for $25, you got a Yazoo, which is a local brewery in Nashville, like a one-time brewed sour with a special glass, and you had biscuits and gravy and an omelet. I had already eaten, so I passed on that, and I actually got a Black Abbey brown ale, which I didn't really think much of, but I just thought of drinking a beer at 8 o'clock in the morning was fun. But what I heard is some of the people actually went to this place, got their ticket, and then went to other liquor stores in town to get this limited beer, because I was the 30th person in line, and I got one bottle of it. And it was I think it was maybe 2/3 the size of this one here, and it was like a 16-ounce bottle, and it was like $14. It
Wow.
was not the most expensive beer I've ever bought, but it was very good. The weird, odd thing is, like, when I finally got in line and got my beer, there was a Wild Heaven beer Dionysus that I really like, and it actually was cheaper in Tennessee than it is in Georgia, so I got a couple bottles of that. That's my crazy wild ale quad beer
Just a
that I
wild
like.
and crazy guy.
Yeah, so yeah, the guy I got in line with goes to school at Auburn. Actually, drove up from Auburn, Alabama, just because he had heard about this event, and he was talking about all the beers he had kept. And I was like, man, to be such a beer crazy guy, in college age, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, I was just hanging out. Not surprising, mostly guys. Hard to believe in the beer world.
Oh.
But they had some good stuff at that place, and I tried not to pick up too much, but I grabbed a few. And this is one of the bottles. I mean, this was like, for a bomber, $10, and it's pretty good, and it's not too high in alcohol. Hits all the notes. Almost need to go back and get another one.
What is the alcohol content on it?
This one's only 5.5, so it's not bad, because the Bourbon County Stout, I don't know, what is that, like 11 or something? It might be higher. I did share. I gave a little bit to Don because I just thought, well, we have to drink a Chicago beer while we're watching the Titans play the Bears.
Sure.
And he actually had the game on. Mr. Don got the whole Sunday ticket. I mean, to get like the red zone is maybe, I don't even know how much it is, like $100 for the year. But the red zone is like, to get the ticket's like $300, and he never watches the games. He always watches the red zone. Well, this Sunday we watch Bears-Titans because, they were playing each other.
Right.
And it sure looked like the kind of game we expected it to be when Mariota hit Matthews for that long touchdown pass. And it was 21-7 at the half. And I'm like, well, this is going as expected. But then they did what they did in the fourth quarter of the Packers game where they kind of settled for field goals. And then, of course, because we have the worst special teams in the league, couldn't recover an onside kick, couldn't stop Matt Barkley, didn't sack him, intercepted him twice, had a weird cornerback rotation going on. Like, they're putting guys on the field I'd never seen before. And I assume they're going to do that again this week since Sharona's favorite Titan, Parrish Cox, got cut on Monday.
Mm-hmm. See, I missed that.
And they really, really should have lost because I know one of the drives they got an onside kick, and they had the ball first and goal at the 10, and 2 of the 4 passes were into the hands of receivers who dropped it. There were 10 drops. So Matt Barkley, if you started him in fantasy, probably in a 2-quarterback league, you had a nice day because he had 3 touchdowns and 300 yards. And I think Marquez Wilson, who made DFS legend Drew Dinkmeyer $1 million one time because he started him on a fluke, and he did pretty well for them. But other than that, you didn't really know any of the guys in the Bears. Like, they threw a touchdown to the tight end who was like a backup, and I'd never heard of him before. But it was that kind of game. Although Sharona's probably happy that Derrick Henry started getting some touches because DeMarco Murray's starting to fade. He's not looking as effective, and Derrick Henry's looking good. So probably a good time for a bye. I think when the season started, people were like, well, week 13 bye. It's the Titans and the Browns, 2 of the most fantasy irrelevant teams. But as Sharona knew, because Sharona's a shark, she loaded up on them Titans, and I think she's going to have some trouble in fantasy this week because all her players are gone.
I was looking at that. I was looking at my records. I hadn't had a chance to even check. I'm like, so many players on buys. Oh, no. So, okay, let's tally them. How you doing in your fantasy leagues?
Well, we might as well. Let's start with the Yahoo.
You want to start with the big win? Yeah. Okay.
Well, the Yahoo League is, our league that we put together, family and friends league. Got some of the best in the business in there, and us. And me. I'll throw you in with the best of the business. So we played. So Sharona already had first place and first place team name with the Taipei locked down. And then this week, I knew what fantasy week it was going to be like because on Thanksgiving Day, I started Eric Ebron, who everybody in the world was having just like seizures on the floor over the fact that he got 0 targets. And then I benched Roberto Kelly, is that his name, for the Washington a week before when he had like 30 points and 3 touchdowns. And I started him this week and he got like 6. And my running backs were so horrible this week. Like, I actually benched Frank Gore, which is a smart move because he scored 4 points. But I started Thomas Rawls, who everybody was all over. He scored 3.8 because the Seahawks keep thinking, hey, we can win with a good defense, a good quarterback, above average receivers, and no offensive line to speak of. Well, it didn't really work out this week. So, yeah, all my running backs were awful. I basically, like, 2/3 of my points were Michael Thomas and Colin Kaepernick, y'all. I don't care about the politics. He just scores points. And he almost ran in that last play of the game for a touchdown. If he would have had one of the best fantasy days of, like, all time. I mean, he did have something like 300 yards passing. He had 100 yards rushing. And it doesn't matter if he's losing. He's the running Blake Bortles of, this year. So, yay ha. But, yeah, Sharona took me out. I lost by, like, 8.
Oh, yeah?
I had clinched a playoff spot a couple weeks ago, so I was like, that's okay. I'm trying to get my team strong. Gronk's injured. I'm hoping, like, Sammy Watkins, who I grabbed, is looking good. I just need 2 running backs with a freaking pulse. And I can compete in the playoffs. I have a lot of them. I even grabbed Charles Sims this week, who's still in IR, just because it's like I'm just throwing darts at this point. I mean, because that position is awful. But yeah, Sharona's the champion. Who led you to victory, dude? Did you start Alex Smith? You started Dak because Dak did all right.
Zach. Yeah, sorry, Dak.
I Kate would have outscored him. Just saying, I don't know if he throws his cup into the trash can. Showing his good character.
Oh, see, I haven't. I've missed everything. I have no idea. I'm happier that way. I'm 10-2 in that league in first place. Yeah,
Yes, you
I,
are.
I just set my lineup. I'm okay. Let's check and see who's out there. So this is my best team. I am. It's so weird.
You saved your best for us.
I guess I'm in second place. I'm 8-4 in my NFL female league. I'm doing. I had a rash. This is the one where I've got so many young wide receivers, high Nuke Hopkins, who are killing me. Amari Cooper, among others, and then my other league. It's so weird. My ITP league. That team sucked. Because I missed the start of our draft because this show went over, and
Oh,
yeah,
nothing to
and
blame you for.
but I was able to. I'm trying to pull it up. That's not it. Um, I am 8-4, I think. Yeah, I'm in seventh place, but I'm 8-4 in that league. So let's see.
Good.
I had a team. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. I was doing really, really, really well in this. I'm 6-6 in this one league. I was doing so well. I mean, I started out undefeated, in this other ESPN league that I'm in, and I'm 7-5 now in fourth place.
You're in a lot of leagues.
Excuse me. Yeah, I've got,
Nice.
sorry, burped.
You burp like a champion, right?
I do burp like a champion. Champion.
I don't
Yeah,
think
my gosh, my team this team is just full of time players. I'm in trouble. And Stefan Diggs, who's
I'm in trouble.
banged up. Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Let's see.
Well, I've only done 3 rostered maintenance leagues this year. The Yahoo League, my Dynasty League. Funny thing, I was hanging out with my dad, and I'm like, "Wow, look at us! We're actually playing for like the number 1 pick in our Dynasty League because he's like 2-10, and I'm 3-9.
Oh yeah?
We're having an awful year. We've both been in that league for like a decade, and my dad lost the championship in the first year by like less than a point, and I've been in the championship twice and lost. So yeah, 0 titles in a decade. Not so good, but yeah, we're playing for next year. I did want to point out, I was looking at the scores this week in our league, and I noticed that the Nope Goblins, Jamal, had beaten Kent Forte something
Oh yeah?
by less than a point, and I thought, wow,
Oh.
that's got to be the lowest margin of victory in the league this year. And then I looked and I saw that my friend Chuck beat Bob Lung 114.36 to 114.34. So a .02 margin of victory, which I think Bob calculated to be half a passing yard because it's 4/400ths of a point for passing yard. So that's how much Chuck won by, and no stat corrections, so the victory has been assured. Now, we do have an 8-team playoff and a 12-team league, so just about everybody's getting in.
Oh, I see. They finally changed Ty Montgomery to a wide receiver / running back, so you can start him at running back.
Just in time for him to be totally fantasy irrelevant. Yeah, people
right.
were freaking out about that, and then it's like, James Starks is back. They're not using him at all.
Yeah,
But the Packers are back. I don't know. It's
weird.
I would almost look forward to a Raiders Patriots playoff game just because then they'll replay the Tom Brady non-fumble.
Ooh.
What was the rule they made? They actually overturned that eventually. I can't. What was it? Something, but the Tuck rule. That's right. The Tuck rule rematch.
Yeah.
Sure, on his way to in the whole fantasy. Yeah, I was
Now I'm
looking.
listening to Tuck Rule rematch.
Almost all of my MFL 10s and 25s are totally terrible. I think I'm solidly in the middle of the auction league we did, which means it's way better than I did last year. I'm ahead of Sharona, though. That's good, right? And then, of course, Scott Fishbowl. Just killing it in that league. I scored 217. That was the thing. In our Yahoo league, I had 6 points on Thanksgiving Day. In Scott Fishbowl, I had 100 points on Thanksgiving because I started Reed, who played through a freaking shoulder injury. Yeah. And, of course, Zeke. The only problem with Zeke is maybe Dallas has such a big lead that they don't use him that much later in the season, and it kills you in fantasy. But right now, he's doing good. So I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm up to I'm in the 30s or something overall on that, and I got a clinched a bye in the first round, which is great because I have Delaney Walker and Barnage, and so there will be no bye weeks in the playoffs. What are you going to miss more, Sharona? Are you going to miss bye weeks or waivers? Because they're both coming to an end in a lot of leagues.
Waivers.
Although I don't think there's some leagues where they actually cut off waivers in the playoffs. I know in the league I used to be in, we actually made it against the rules for teams out of the playoffs to make waiver moves because they weren't really playing anymore, and we'd reverse the waiver order. Of course,
I like that rule.
We have that free agent Bucks deal in our league, although there really isn't much left. I almost made a bid for Taylor Gabriel this week, and I decided not to. Like, when the year starts, you could tell people, like, here are the players who are going to have fantasy relevance into the year. And they'd be like, you're out of your mind. Last year, Tim Hightower. This year, Taylor Gabriel, championship, baby. But what do you think about all the hype being given to Tyreek Hill of the Chiefs, who's had domestic violence in his history? Mm-hmm. And that got him transferred from, I think, Oklahoma State to West Alabama. He got taken in the 5th round, and he scored 3 touchdowns last week. Mm. And he got highlighted by the NFL.com page. And I don't know. It's a little awkward, I guess.
Yeah, kind of one of the reasons why I don't much like people anymore.
Yeah, what do people ever do? Oh, never mind. No, we didn't even go there, right? I was going to sing, wish that I was on Rocky Top, but it feels like no jokes suffice.
No, it's fine.
Tennessee got blasted by Vanderbilt.
I told you they were going to lose.
And then, half the state's on fire right now, I think, still. Like Gatlinburg, I was thinking we stayed there the last time Tennessee played Missouri, and we stayed in an all-wood place, right in the middle of the woods. And I'm like, man, I wonder if that place is still there. It's just a terrible situation going on right there right now. And then it's terrible that Tennessee's probably going to give Butch Jones an extension, right?
I wouldn't put anything past. They're kind of in flux a little bit, there isn't what's his face, he's retiring or leaving. And so I don't know what's going to happen. But I did call that. I told you last week that I thought that they would lose to I thought that they would lose to Vandy, and they did. So,
is this the worst year in SEC history? I mean,
it's just, it's kind of been weird that, isn't it? It's going to be Bama and Florida in the SEC championship game, and who would? I mean, Farbus Jones. I don't care.
Well, we were listening to sports radio, and they were talking about how if Tennessee won, they were going to get a Sugar Bowl bid. And they were talking the last time Tennessee had gone to the Sugar Bowl. Used to be you went to the Sugar Bowl when you won the SEC. Now you go to the Sugar Bowl for the 3rd best team in the SEC. I don't even know anymore because they it was almost like a weird flow chart that you get at work that you don't understand, like explaining the SEC bowl rules. But I think like Auburn's going to the Sugar Bowl because they're like 9-3, if that. They might even be worse. But yeah, the thing that got me is we went bowling with the Funks. Hey, Don, on Saturday.
Hi, Don.
And the Mississippi State game was on, and Mississippi State was just blowing Mississippi out. And I was like, didn't Mississippi, like, they were beating Florida State and they blew it, and they were beating Alabama by like 3 touchdowns and they blew it. And now they might not go to a bowl, but now bowls are participation trophies. Like, everybody's going. I think they might be talking about 4-8 teams going this year because there aren't that many 5-7 teams. It's bad. I mean, we can't possibly do it like 1AA where they have a 24-team playoff. Can you imagine how awesome 1A would be with a 24-team playoff?
I cannot even imagine.
Yeah, you can't. It's not possible. You're just and explode. I only mentioned that because my wife's alma mater, UTC, won a playoff game for the 3rd year in a row. They've been to the playoffs once when I think T.O. was there. It was the only time. And they've won playoff games 3 years in a row. They beat Weber State, and now they're on to mighty Sam Houston in round 2 of the playoffs. Sam Houston is undefeated, and I have no idea if they're good because they're FCS. But, hey, it continues.
Apparently, we can only have 2 tight ends. What league is this? No wonder I've been like trying to add a tight end.
So I'm talking about, important stuff like 1AA playoffs, and Sharona's like working on. It's time for me to check out. Is there any Black Friday deals still going on? Cyber Monday, something, anything.
We're talking fantasy football,
awesome.
So
Uh-huh.
It's a good opportunity to, talk about it and check on everything.
I was kind of.
See, I've got Delaney's he's on a bye, and then I've got CJ Fiodovici, whatever, and he's questionable, so I'm trying to add a tight end. I just want a 3rd tight end, and it won't let me. It says too many tight ends on roster, maximum 2, which is bullshit.
See, that's why we started the Yahoo League, because we had roster limits in my other league, and I'm like, no. Because right now, I think I have like 7 receivers and 6 running backs, and everything else I have 1. Well, I had Jared Cook for a week. I knew it. I knew I had to pick up Jared Cook just so I could have him on my roster for a week when he had 2 catches for 7 yards. Way to go, Jared. Never change. That dude's going to be in the league. Who's going to be in the NFL longer, Jared Cook or Jeff Fisher? I mean, seriously, these guys just cannot go away.
I was looking at Jared Cook, and despite everybody, it's hard for some people to give up on the dream, but he just, I pass him by. He's not somebody I would pick up.
There should be one of those like reality shows for the guys who were fantasy just darlings, but they never did anything. Like Christine Michael and Jared Cook would definitely be in there.
Yeah.
Maybe Ryan Tannehill too, because people have been for years waiting for him to blow up.
Kenny Britt.
Maybe Kenny Britt's having a pretty good year. I mean,
yeah, he is.
He's got to have career highs because he never has had more than like 750 yards. I know way too much about Kenny Britt. I don't think he has 50 catches in a year. He had that 1 year where he's really good, except he got injured right away. Yeah, it's all fun. It's all fun and games till you. So the thing that Twitter kept passing around, and we know how truthful the news is these days and how people just pass stuff around based on headlines, but they said during the press conference for the Patriots-Rams game this weekend, Jeff Fisher said how much he admired Danny Woodhead because he's such a good playmaker for the Patriots. And I was like, did he really say that?
Did he really say that?
Not know that a guy who's been off the Patriots for, I think, 3 years and is on IR.
Yeah.
And who's always on IR, but good player.
Yeah. He didn't.
But
What?
If I ever want people to talk at like a wake for me, I think I want Bill Belichick to do it because he was saying great things about the Rams like punter today. Because they always have to. You do 1,000 of these press conferences, and you got to just like come on seriously. And so he's talking about the Rams punter because, well, he gets a lot of work, right? And they showed the last 2 times the Patriots played Jeff Fisher. I believe the total score was something like 104-7,
No way.
including that glorious game in the snow where it was 49-0 Patriots at the half. And that was the first game of the Chris Johnson 100-yard game streak because it was the second half and they weren't even trying. And yeah, it was something like they lost 63-0, and then it was like 45-7 with the Rams last time. There's some games, like the Steelers and Dallas that you wish was more often than every 4 years. Patriots, Rams, or Patriots, Jeff Fisher should not ever happen again. So hopefully this is the last one of those games.
Now, I guess Fisher was the coach for the infamous snowy beatdown, right? The 59 to what was it?
It was 59, yeah, because it was 49.
59-0.
It was 49-0 at the half. That was when he was like forced to bring Vince Young in, like Vince Young's last wild ride, where he had a few decent games in the second half, and that's when Chris Johnson, blew up. The old Chris Johnson. But it's kind of crazy going back to the Titans. By the way, next weekend, not this weekend, weekend after, Titans, Broncos, last home game I can go to. My dad has procured me a ticket. So I will be at the game, and I think it's actually a lower deck ticket. So watch out. Watch out, Broncos fans, because they're going to be there.
Probably.
Trevor Siemian jerseys. Get in. Bring on. He had a good game. Actually, my parents got me this, so I showed off.
What is it? I can't. Hang on.
Read.
Okay.
I guess they do a shirt for every game they play, and my mom bought me the long sleeve T-shirt of the game against the Packers since they won and played so well. I think they had a gift card, but anyway, yeah, I have another Titans shirt.
Well, there you go.
It's long sleeve, and always long sleeve shirts have like these cuffs that like cut off your circulation, so I have to like kind of tear at them to get them to fit.
Oh, you are Bill Belichick.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. I need to cut off the sleeves.
You'll have a hoodie with a cut off sleeve soon.
I could be. Yeah, that could be me. But yeah, we're getting toward the end. Are you ready? It seems like you're kind of worn down. I mean, I think all of America's kind of worn down, but the whole football season ending, I don't know.
I'm just ready for 2016 to be over.
Well, that's true.
That's kind of the thing. It's been a year that will go down in history as like one of the worst ever. So yeah, I'm just ready for the year to be over and hopeful that 2017 will be better.
Possible, I guess. I don't know. We're really in interesting times. I'll put it that way.
Yes.
So should we try over it or nah? I'm hoping I didn't talk about too many of these things already.
Is it too early for over it or not?
It might be too early, but I don't know. I thought, okay, fine.
We'll do whatever you want to do. You're in charge.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, let's do that, and then we can, get to have some hot Titans talk. If you want to talk feelings, do we have other feelings to talk about? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, over it or nah, the SEC East.
Over it.
Let's see if Sharona knows this. What was the last year that the SEC East won in the SEC championship game?
1998.
Because Tennessee was in there. 2008, Florida. It's been 8 years, and they haven't been that many close games either. Missouri was the only team to get blown out, by the way. Florida, they kind of went easy on them. So over it or nah, college football playoff?
Nah.
I wish they'd go 8, but that'll probably be a
Oh, I
while.
wish they would, and I think eventually they will.
I'm just tired of the whole money argument. It's like you're going to get so much more money for games that matter versus, hey, let's watch Arkansas State and Hawaii Tech
Well,
play
I'm
in the
over all the participation bowls
crap
and
bowl.
all of that. Yeah, I mean, I'm over all of that.
I mean, another random
Sure.
weird stat is Missouri played 11 FBS teams this year, and all 11 are going to a bowl game
No way.
because they played Delaware State was their one AA, which they won, but Eastern Michigan, even them, they haven't been in a bowl game in like 30 years. If you don't go to a bowl now, it's like you sucked. Oh, here we go, it's on.
It's on like Donkey
On
Kong.
Sunday when I had that Bourbon County Stout, and I said, man, it's really hard to follow it up because this is a really good beer. It's very smooth, although you do definitely taste the bourbon. Somebody said, oh, well, the thing you should transition to is bourbon. And I'm like, no. No. You want me out of commission for a week. That's the way to do it.
You see?
But I might drink some if Sharona was around, but probably never see her again.
It has. The thing about, for me, was everybody's different, but for me, the thing about bourbons and whiskeys and brandy and all darker liquors is the smell. It should have a smell that complements the palate, the taste, and this does. It's really, really, really good. But the smell is definitely part of the experience.
Yeah, it's true that not every beer you drink, especially the bouquet of a Bud Light, is not going to be that exciting. But the Bourbon County, that's why you have to have this wide glass because it's got to be open so you can get that experience. And it's lovely when you do that. So over to late bye weeks.
Yeah, I'm kind of over the whole way the NFL does their bye weeks. I don't know why they couldn't just have 2 bye weeks in the middle of the season, get them all over with, let everybody get their break, and then let's move on.
Yeah,
The staggering it in the way that they're doing it sucks.
yeah, the whole like 1 week there's 6, and then there's 4, and then this week there are 2. The one's the Browns. Other than Terrell Pryor, there's not much there, unless you're a Gary Barnidge fan.
Well, I had Duke Johnson on my roster. I was that desperate.
My condolences. Yeah, I had Isaiah Crowell, who was the highest scoring running back on my team last week, and he had like 13 points. Man, they throw him a lot of 1 yard, negative yard passes toward the end of the game. So I want to try that, but at a different time. And then, of course, over it or nah, going to one more Titans game this year.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to make it,
Wait, come on.
I know, right?
So fun the first time. Other
I
than
did
the
have
actual
fun.
game, everything else was good. The game itself,
I'm hopeful next year maybe they'll be better. I honestly like the team already a lot better now that they've dropped Paris Scott.
yes.
That does make me feel better about the team. I'm sorry, not sorry. So, but no, probably not going to attend any more football games this year. But yeah, like to go to some hockey games. We should go to a hockey game or two.
Yeah,
I told Zach, I was like, I can come to Nashville even when the Titans aren't playing. I promise. There's not a law against
starting
it.
in January, there will be no Titans. Although last weekend, the rest of the AFC South did them a lot of favors. That loss to the Colts made you think, okay, Titans have no shot. But then after they lost and the Colts lost, of course, Andrew Luck had to be concussed after the Titans game. And then, of course, the Texans lost to a good team because they can't beat anyone good. They beat the Titans. That means they're not good. So, yeah, they're only half game out of the lead. But we shall see. We have a week to wait. And then we have Kansas City and Denver. And I'm almost sad. I missed – I mean, Anytime I end up at Don's, usually I'm dead asleep on the couch by halftime of the late game. So I didn't see the whole crazy drama of that one. How Denver tried to kick a field goal from 60 yards at the end, and then Kansas City, no field goal is safe this year, doinked off the goalpost, and half the Denver defense was miss, and then they said good, and yeah. But Kansas City on the road is going to be tough because their defense is really good. But their offense isn't. Although they probably could move against Titans. I can't imagine them trying to cover a guy like Tyreek Hill with speed and stuff. But we'll see. In Denver, they're at home. They got a week off. They have a week to prepare for Trevor Siemian, Watch out.
Yes.
And for Von Miller is going to wreak some freaking havoc. And they have a really good secondary, and the Titans don't get a lot of separation. But hey, it was Chris Westling of the NFL Network who showed the dramatic improvement. Mariota throwing deep passes. He was 9 for 49 last year on passes of 20 yards and beyond. And this year he's 40. He's one of the top rated deep passers in the NFL. And he's hitting close. Guys are seriously covered. It's not like a guy's just wide open, because guys have to fall down and be shot in the leg for the Titans receivers to be that open. It's not going to happen. So he's gotten more accurate and crazy.
Well, listen, I have no doubt but that Marcus Mariota has worked on his craft and has gotten significantly better, and part of it is the maturation process. But the other part is he's got some wide receivers who can actually run the right routes.
Who don't suck.
Yeah, I mean, if you know the stories about Dorial Green Beckham and how, it wasn't entirely Marcus Mariota's fault, is all I'm saying, that, he could not, that his numbers weren't better. Justin Hunter, who,
those guys are still in the league, but yeah. I don't think the immensely talented but not disciplined receiver is the one for Mariota. If you could name a receiver or a running back on the Oregon teams he played for, good luck with that. I don't think Kenyon Barner was playing for them. Maybe. But yeah, they didn't have a lot. And he is the first Titans quarterback to throw for 25 touchdowns in a year. And there's still 4 games to go. He's going to be the first guy. He'll probably beat Hasselbeck. I think had 3,500 yards. So he can top that and be the top yardage. He's going to way beat down the numbers that Steve McNair had the year he won the co-MVP. But part of the MVP is your team has a good record. Titans probably won't have a good record. I don't know. I feel like they could pull out 9-7, but they always seem to just bring their D game against the AFC South. So to assume they would win against Jaguars and the Texans, even though the Jaguars are pretty much done, the defense is still kind of spirited, but, Bortles is awful, and they have no run game at all. You think they'd beat him. And the Texans, Brock Osweiler and all, as long as they punt every punter out of bounds and every kickoff out of bounds just to be safe, they probably should beat them, but you just can't trust it. And the AFC West, to beat a good team, that's what they have to do. I mean, when the season is over, you look at the Titans, who they've played, it's not going to be very impressive. I mean, the NFC North is not that good. The AFC West is good, but they're probably going to lose to all 4 of those teams. We'll see. But ultimately, if they go 8-8, that's almost double the wins they had the last 2 years. And they have 2 first-round picks. I'll be annoyed when they don't have any second-round picks. Maybe they'll trade down. But the future looks pretty good because you have a quarterback. You don't have a secondary, but you have a quarterback, and that's more important. Right?
Well, I think they're both pretty.
You can't agree.
I think they're both pretty important. It's obviously very important to have a franchise quarterback, but every defense, and they've got some nice guys in the front 7, but they need a headhunter in the secondary.
Yeah, the only real like playmaker they have on defense is Jarrell Casey. Now Rakpo
I was
and
starting to
Morgan
say,
are pretty good. And I feel like Kelvin Byard, I don't know. Middle Tennessee guy, rookie, had to be a third round pick, a second round pick. Forget it. Looks like he's going to be a player, but they need they need cornerbacks. They almost need to take, because I feel like there's two guys out of Florida that are supposed to be really good. Is like, just take those two guys and let them play together, because they need a lot there. And I don't know about the like inside linebackers and stuff, but just think what they had to play with. Nothing. So they've improved. I mean, Sharona going wine to bourbon. I mean, that's just, that's all-star right there.
like a boss.
I go beer to beer. Although I was impressed because, my friend Don has the iron stomach. He was drinking wine, then he was drinking the bourbon barrel stuff, then he went back to wine. No biggie. Teaching the next day, whatever. Losing the me and Wii bowling. Totally cool. What are you going to do? But I have not acquired my Nintendo Classic. So
You're very sad about that, I can tell.
It's tough. Well, I'm just confused by the whole, like, why they haven't made like 1 billion of these things. Because they're going to sell. I mean, actually, here's how weird it got. Like, I went online and found a website where you could actually look up the inventory at local Targets. And there was one store in town that said they had 6 of them. So I called them, and they told me that like 70 people had called them, and they basically had sold out that morning. They just hadn't updated their inventory. But there was one Target that told me that they were getting them the next day. And then there's the one near me was like, we don't know what's in the truck till we get there. I'm like, really? I almost don't believe that. But yeah, it's kind of nuts. People are still selling them on eBay for like $200. And I know at some point, whether it's next month or January, there's going to be like 7 billion. There's going to be like one for each person in the world. But not now. Not yet. So I'll wait and be patient.
Maybe they're saving some stock up for, Christmas, the Christmas sales and stuff.
But
waiting to ship them out for that.
I feel like I need to be free because we watched the cultural event of the season, the Gilmore Girls revival on Netflix. And so we have Netflix for a month. So I feel like I need to like watch every show on there in the next month. So I've been watching Daredevil, trying to get through that. There's so many shows on Netflix now. It's insane. Last time we were on Netflix, they had like 2 shows. Now they have 50 shows.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on there.
There is so much. But yeah. So if we don't do Titans game, we'll have to gather another time, huh?
Well, I mean, I told you I can come to Nashville even if the Titans aren't playing. The Preds play. I'll go to we haven't done a hockey game. We've done a football game. Now we should do a hockey game.
Okay. Well, we'll check the schedule,
Okay.
We almost went to see them because they played, I think it was Friday, and they played Winnipeg. Winnipeg was the team that used to be the Thrashers. Like, when the Atlanta Thrashers were going to leave Atlanta, they had a Save the Thrashers gathering, and like 10 people showed up.
Oh, well.
We weren't that into the hockey. We lost 2 teams. I have an Atlanta Flames jersey just because it looks cool. But, yeah, we've loved and lost 2 teams, and they came back and won like 5-1. I want Predators to be good because
is this the
Titans,
time? Is this where we talk about our emotions now? Because you've loved and lost 2 teams.
I don't know. Well, I don't know about loved and lost when it comes to Atlanta and hockey franchises and sports. I mean,
I saw the brouhaha about the Las Vegas team and the unveiling of the name and all of that.
Oh, the hockey. So they're getting a hockey team.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like the Raiders are moving there. And I'd be like super pissed if I were an Oakland fan because they had the Raiders and they moved to LA and then they come back and they're going to leave again. I mean, the dumb shit we did. Well, we voted in W twice and Trump and all that. But the dumb stuff we put up with our professional football teams or sports teams is just crazy. I mean, Oilers fans were just like so pissed at Bud Adams, but it's like, oh, new guy's buying a new franchise. Screw it. Oh, they're named the Texans that have the most boring color scheme ever. Whatever. Okay.
It's football, though. I saw
We're good.
that Texas got their man. They fired Charlie Strong and then hired Tom Herman. All the shenanigans with LSU and all of that.
There's really no
I guess
end.
Jimmy Sexton represents Tom Herman too, eh?
There's no like end to the drama in the SEC. That's why your least favorite person, Trey Clavis, makes such a living off of it, because that's right. The whole thing, like LSU was hiring Tom Herman, and then the next day he's like, my rep, I never even talked to them. And then he was going to Texas, and LSU held on to their soon to put them on probation temporary coach, Orgeron, whatever. But it's the SEC. It's okay. You can like hire a coach and 2 years later fire him and pay his buyout for the next
Well,
decade. And you're cool.
apparently everybody can, but Tennessee, all they can do is just keep handing out extensions to underperforming coaches.
Well, that's the rule. You have to either extend your coach or fire him, unless he's in like his first year, like Missouri's coach. I don't know what they're going to do because their defense was so horrible, and their head coach was a defensive guy. But it was fun. I'll admit, I had fun watching Missouri play football for the first time in 2 years because they beat Arkansas. Because I have my friend Doug, who lives in Atlanta, barely Doug on Twitter, and even when Missouri beat them 2 years ago to go to the SEC title game, Arkansas fans acted like they won. And then last year they beat the hell out of Missouri because they should have. And this year they should have beat the crap out of Missouri, but they were winning 24-7 at the half, and Missouri, who couldn't beat Kentucky, who couldn't beat anybody, came back to beat them 28-24, threw 2 interceptions in the end zone. And I was actually like, wait, what is this strange feeling? And it's like there's like pride. Like I'm actually like feeling good about my alma mater. It was a weird feeling. It was confusing. We had to go shopping in downtown Franklin, Tennessee to, make up for that. So that was good. I got some spices. So that was fun.
Oh, cool.
It's funny. Like we go to his downtown, like it's weird for me because I lived in Nashville in like middle school, and to come back to it now when it's like this blowing up town, and to go to this little tiny, town near Nashville, and every store just sells every kitschy little thing in the world. And you're like, this is dumb. I would never buy it. And then we go into the store where it's all spices. And I'm like, I want everything in this store. Like I bought this smoky like barbecue thing because I want to try it on ribs. So I had it this weekend, and I found a 5 spice that's supposed to like mimic the Tennessee, like the Nashville hot chicken. I'm like, yes, I will take that. Got some wasabi for Allison. So yeah, everybody's happy.
Well, there you go.
But you want to get worked up about your football team. You want to get worked up about your beer. You want to get worked up about what you're going to grill. Someday we'll get Sharona down here to Atlanta and get you a little bit of that big green egg pizza action going.
Yes. Now you must tell me about this pizza because it sounds very Grinchy.
You say Grinchy or crunchy?
Grinchy, green eggs and ham. You said big green.
Well,
Grinch. Hello.
We're very.
Did you not watch any children's Christmas stuff when you were young?
Well, it is a strange contraption because it is. What is it? A Japanese Kamado kind of cooker that they've been using for years, and the green egg is just the color that the company gives it. But it's a special kind of cooker that you use wood charcoal, and everything tastes delicious on it. And my in-laws got me a pizza stone last year, and Allison got me a pizza baking class. So I got the recipe. I make the dough, I cook it on the grill, I put the ingredients on there, I make my own sauce.
Now we must talk about your red sauce now here. Okay, we need to do a cooking show because I've been trying to make a good marinara or red sauce for years and then can't perfect it.
Hmm. Well, my mom used to make one. I just get like the Italian crushed tomatoes. I started with like the chopped onions and garlic, and you cook that, and you put the tomato part on there. You put the tomato paste in there, throw in a little wine, herbs, cook it, you're done. But with the pizza sauce, you buy, it's like this Italian crushed tomatoes. You just put the crushed tomatoes out there and you put some herbs on it, and that's it, because the sauce cooks on the pizza, so you don't cook it beforehand. That's what they told
Oh.
me. So you put the dough out there. It's funny that I used to cook like pizza in the oven. I would actually cook the crust first and then put the toppings on. But with this, you put it all together. You put the, you do the dough, you roll it out, you put the sauce on, you put the cheese on, you put the toppings. Sometimes you reverse the order because you're wacky. You put the pepperoni on before the cheese, or half of it's mushrooms, because I do not like mushrooms, but my wife's a big fan, so I
I
do that
love
for her.
mushrooms. Alice and I would eat mushroom pizza. I
Hmm.
layer everything. Like I made pizza yesterday, which is how this conversation came up, and so I put the dough in, and I always cook mine together because I just do. But I always put too much sauce on, and I'm like, I need to not put so much sauce on, but then I do it every time. So I put the sauce on, and then I'll put some salt and pepper, and then I'll put a layer of cheese, and then pepperoni, then a layer of another different kind of cheese because I use cheddar and mozzarella.
Well,
And
of course, you want something, UT colored, right?
it's good.
You do mozzarella and Parmesan, but yeah, it's really just a small layer. I think we went to a local place in town. They had one of those crazy pizza ovens that's like 1,000 degrees, and everything has to be super thin because it cooks in like 2 minutes. So that's why you don't put
See,
you really
I
just put like a barely little bit of layer of like sauce.
I prefer thin crust. That's my preference.
So we don't get Chicago pizza then.
No,
Although the
I
Chicago people defend that to the
I like
death.
Chicago pizza. I'll eat deep dish. I'll eat hand tossed or whatever. It's all good. I just don't like no onions.
Really?
I am not an onion
Huh. Because
consumer.
I'll that
No, now give me garlic, but
onions
no
and
onion.
garlic that I cook, that I put in like my regular sauce, that's like part of the pizza creation. You do the sauce, then you put like the onions and garlic on there, and then
That's
you go with
it.
the toppings. But I'll have to,
No,
yeah, put it on half, I guess. I don't know.
I
We'll
do
see.
not like
The
it.
pizza, I'm trying to think. Pizza's like Colin Kaepernick. The floor is high. It's going to be pretty good. You're going to get some points. And you're going to get some annoyed talk show people, and that's always fun. Right? No? Yes?
Uh,
She don't care.
just
You know why? Because she's high on life and high on defeating me in fantasy. I'm hoping there's a rematch in the playoffs, because it could happen. I think I'm still in. Let me see. Am I still in second place? Because I've lost 3 in a row. It's been kind of
yeah, this is
embarrassing.
like the league, I
Oh
think.
yeah, yeah. Nope, nope, nope. Goblins have taken me. Oh crap. I'm
Uh-oh.
in third now.
My Scotty Fishbowl team sucks. But it's so funny because I think this is the team, all these sites will rate your draft and rate your teams and whatever. And I think this is the team that I got like a C minus or something on. Yahoo did not like my team at all. And
Just because all those Titans.
well, yeah. I mean, I took Delaney what in the fourth or fifth round maybe, and that was when they were like, huh? Well,
I feel like Delaney might be going later, but tight end's been such a disaster this year, as my Eric Ebron pick has turned out. The excitement of having both tight ends from the Patriots has really gone downhill, because like, it sounds like they're both injured. And
I just picked
I
up Dion Lewis.
wait, he was on waivers?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like every waiver article, I'm like, yeah, I picked that guy up 3 weeks ago. It doesn't work in our league because I think we're kind of deep. But it is nice to be in a league where I can just pick up quarterbacks. Hello, Kaepernick's my man. And then defenses and kickers like every single week. You okay there?
Yeah,
Extra bourbon makes you rub your eyes.
Well, no, you didn't. You haven't even noticed. You didn't notice. I've got glitter. I put glitter on. So we're going to talk about feelings. I'm like all glittery and everything.
Really?
I had a piece of glitter in the corner of my eye.
Cover a lot of feelings. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
Mm.
It's gone.
It looks lovely and delicious.
I'm glad that it was only 5.5%. Yeah. Excited to get back to Daredevil. Yeah. Hopefully I can get the all clear from the physical therapist this week so my back's okay so I can actually exercise. I've been walking.
I've been exercising again. I've been much more having a real bed has been life-changing. So I've still got like there's like a corner that I've got to finish cleaning up, but I've got a bed and a bedroom and all of that, so it's kind of neat and cool.
So all the kitties hang out in the bed?
Smokey is definitely, yes, the kitties have, I've got one in here I just now noticed. Iggy likes to hide. And Iggy's been in here the whole time. She's just right there.
Well, I'm just glad you didn't name your cats Butch and Jones. That would have been a bad move.
There was not a chance.
So you're not going to follow Tennessee to the Poulon Weed Eater Bowl or the Belk Bowl or the other random crappy bowl where they'll beat somebody terrible?
Probably watch it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if there's ever a time where I watched all the bowls, and I just remember last year. I haven't even gotten a bowl. Maybe I should do a bowl pool because I haven't done one in years. My uncle used to do one, and I just never. I don't know. You just never know about these teams. I don't know how Eastern Michigan is. I don't know about Arkansas State or all these crazy schools getting in bowl games. University of Texas, San Antonio going like 6-6 in Conference USA, going to bowl. Missouri at 4-8. Not so much.
Nah.
I think pretty much every fan base of SEC schools except for Alabama right now is in that same. We got a bunch of Georgia fans being in Atlanta, and they're all just like, we lost to Georgia Tech. I mean, it was kind of similar to the Tennessee-Vandy game in that rivalry is always one-sided. Georgia usually wins. Tennessee usually beats Vandy. And when they're on the road, when Tennessee plays at Vandy and when Georgia plays at Georgia Tech, it's always they're dominating the fan. Like Vandy, I don't know if they've ever had more home fans than away fans at a game because they just
maybe
don't care.
Once, yeah, maybe
and
once.
Tech's kind of the same. Like they expanded their stadium, and it was like, why? Like their stadium's like the size of Missouri's, and they never sell out. Only for the Georgia game. Like people will buy season tickets for Georgia Tech just for that Georgia game. And then they both lost. And I don't know. There's something to be said for that. And the fact that Florida was starting a transfer quarterback from Purdue against Florida State. Ugh. 2 Purdue transfer quarterbacks were starting for SEC teams this year. There might be a quarterback issue going on in the conference.
It's crazy.
Seriously. Keep your Dobbs. Is Dobbs a senior or a junior? What year is he?
He's a senior.
Are you ready to be post-Dobbs era?
Fire everybody.
Fire everybody?
I like Josh Dobbs, though. Wish him well.
It's like, good person. Maybe no more quarterbacking our team. Okay.
Well, I don't think he's that bad of a quarterback. I think that the coaching staff stinks.
Yep.
So.
Maybe they might do something on the defensive side because, man, they've been rough.
Yeah.
For all that talent. Aw. I made Sharona drink bourbon. It's all my fault. You never thanked me. All right, so Predators. Predators game. Mm-hmm. That was back talk. Is there back talking or? Well, bourbon, you could do back talk for a long time.
The plan is to do a back talk on Friday. Yes, I'm trying to come back. It's like the best laid plans. So, yeah. But the plan is to do a back talk on Friday. Yes, I'm trying to get back to the grindstone.
Good. We need you.
Whatever.
I was going to write a blog post
Nobody misses me.
about my beer experience, but I've been in NaNoWriMo land last month, trying to write 50,000 words in a month, and not sure what I have, but I think I'm going to make it. So, yay.
So, yay.
So good, Sharona. Well, we will chat again. If I get back to Nashville, I'll have to get some of that milk stout for you, that coffee stuff.
Listen, the next time we drink beer together,
Uh-oh.
you keep your blasted mitts off my beer.
Really?
Got it?
You're very possessive about your beer.
No.
Uh-oh.
Listen, guys. I come in toting like 3 bottles of wine for everybody. The beer I brought for me.
Oh. It was good. And you got like 2 ounces of it. Well, I'll be making up for real or perceived slights forever. It's okay. I'll have to bring like 2 bottles of that, the chocolate quad. I'll have to bring, some
I want the new
Dragon's milk.
Yes, I want the
I
new
haven't
Dragon's
seen the new one, but I haven't been. I was in Nashville. I don't think I saw that one there, but when I do, I will track it down, and then you'll have it, and then you will feel whole again. Because I have kept you from your true self. I understand how it goes. So sorry about that.
I do need to get better beer.
Don't we all? It's the goal in life. Good beers, good life, good happiness. Okay, then. Well, thank you, Sharona. Sports by Sharona when she isn't hiding from the world. And Zach _Law on Twitter if you want to have me retweet other people who have more interesting opinions. So thank you for listening and watching. And Don, I will defeat you again. Wii Sports, anytime, any place. So thank you again, and good night, and kiss my grits.
Yes, kiss my grits.